If you've ever looked at a world map and wondered, why is America so powerful? The answer probably isn't in nuclear bombs or space technology, but in exactly where America stands, right in the middle of the map. It sounds simple, but the geography of the U.S. has created some incredible advantages that few really notice. Two vast oceans surround it like a natural shield. Rivers flow across the continent like veins feeding the economy. And from that position, America became the connection point between two halves of the world. This isn't just a story about geography. It's about how a nation uses where it stands to shape its future. And it's a gentle reminder. Sometimes, to change your life, you don't need everything. You just need to start in the right place. Join me as we explore 3 reasons why geography turned the U.S. into a global superpower. Part 1. 2 oceans, how natural barriers protected America. Imagine you're living in a house with 2 solid stone walls on either side. You can sleep peacefully, work, and grow without worrying about anyone breaking in. That's the U.S. Look at the map and you'll see America is surrounded by 2 massive oceans, the Pacific Ocean to the west and the Atlantic Ocean to the east. For centuries, this helped the U.S. stay far away from most wars in Europe and Asia. When the world was engulfed in the flames of World War II, cities like Paris, London, and Berlin lay in ruins. But factories in Detroit kept running bright. Fields in Iowa continued growing corn and wheat to feed the world. Unscathed, America became the supplier of weapons, food, and hope to its allies. And from there it rose. Not just a nation on the sidelines, but a global power center after the war. Sometimes strength doesn't come from how well you fight, but from how well you keep yourself safe during the storm. That's the first lesson geography taught America, and one for all of us. If you have a peaceful space to grow, don't take it for granted. Use it to create something extraordinary. But America's power doesn't come from protection alone. It also comes from what flows beneath its land and rivers. Let's move on to reason 2, where resources become a launching pad for ambition. Part 2. The land and rivers, the quiet foundation of a superpower. If geography is the first gift nature gave America, then its resources and rivers are the second, steady, silent, and incredibly valuable. Here's something many overlook. The U.S. has the longest and deepest inland river system in the world. The Mississippi River and its hundreds of tributaries stretch across the Midwest, like veins nourishing the whole body of the nation. Thanks to these rivers, goods, crops, and raw materials can move faster and cheaper than by road or rail. And that's just the surface. Beneath the ground lies a vast treasure: oil in Texas, natural gas in Pennsylvania, coal in Appalachia. Even the Midwest, once considered boring, boasts some of the most fertile soil on Earth, enough to feed hundreds of millions. While many countries have to import every drop of oil or grain, America can produce fuel and food, not just for itself, but for the world. Here's a memorable example. In 2020, when the pandemic disrupted global supply chains, America still managed to keep production going. Fields were harvested. Rivers continued carrying goods. In an uncertain world, that became a lifeline. And maybe the lesson here is, true wealth doesn't come from what shines the brightest. It comes from what quietly nourishes you every day, like soil, water, and time. But what's even more interesting is, America didn't just look down at its land for strength. It also looked outward, knowing how to stand in the right spot, where 2 worlds meet. That's reason number 3, and maybe the most subtle. America's central role on the global map. Part 3. Strategic location, when America became the world's hub. If you've ever flown long-haul from Asia to Europe, you'll notice something interesting. Flights often cross over North America. Even if it's not the destination, the U.S. is the perfect transit point. America's location isn't just protected, it's connected. Sitting between the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, the U.S. is a natural bridge linking the 2 most important halves of the world, East and West. Because of this, goods, people, cultures, and ideas all move through, or must pass by, America. Cities like New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco aren't just commercial hubs. They're crossroads where civilizations meet. A prime example is the U.S. system of ports and international airports. Mixing east and west, north and south, America easily reaches every major market from London to Tokyo, Berlin to Seoul. In trade, this is a golden advantage. In politics, it's an irreplaceable position. Remember the world's biggest international summits, from the G20 to APEC, NATO? America is always there. Not just because of power, but because its location puts it at the heart of every global current. And here's a lesson for us all. Sometimes it's not about being first or loudest. It's about standing in the right place, so even without speaking, you're heard. America's position wasn't random, but how they used it, that's the real lesson worth learning. And looking back at these three things, protection, resources, and strategic location, you'll see geography isn't just a map. It's a very real part of the story of how a superpower rises. Conclusion. Some say America became a superpower because it's rich. But the truth is, America became rich because it knew how to use what it had. A safe place to grow, natural resources to fuel dreams, and a central spot to connect with the world. None of this is magic. It's a lesson in how to wisely and sustainably leverage your strengths. What about you? No matter if you live in a bustling city or a quiet town, whether you have much or little, what matters isn't where you stand, but what you do with the place you're in. Look around. Maybe the place you live is giving you gifts you haven't noticed yet. If this story made you think, please leave a comment below. What do you believe really makes a nation strong? And what quietly makes you strong? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fresh perspectives on the world around us.